Hello RV people. Today we're going to be changing our fuel filter and fuel pump on this Onan microquiet 4000 generator. So basically the issue is whenever I start the generator, it immediately starts and immediately shuts off. So most likely the suspect is not receiving fuel properly, so it just dies on you. So basically, from my past experience, it's always something to do with the fuel pump. So if that happens to you, like if your generator starts and shuts off immediately, that means it's not getting enough fuel. Of course, I checked the basic things like make sure that you have enough fuel in your fuel tank. At least you gotta have a quarter full of gas on your in your gas tank. My gas is full. I recently did the oil change and the air filter. I didn't do the spark plugs, but yeah, so it's really now uh, giving us this issue. So definitely, yeah, and it's time to change the fuel pump at the same time fuel filter. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. All right. So the fuel filter is located on the left side of the generator. This is your air filter. This is the control box, I think. And then it's right inside there. So you have to remove these things first from it here. You gotta remove this bolt, and then you can take this out, and then whatever is holding here needs to be removed. But before we do that, we have to make sure that you're not connected to shoreline power. Also, I'm not connected. I'm just at home. And then next is we have to disconnect the negative battery from the house battery before we start this job, before we start touching anything around here. Okay, let me do that. So I ordered my part online on Amazon, so I really got a good deal. It comes with the fuel filter, the fuel pump, even they throw in for you like a fuel hose and air filter. Amazing. All this for super cheap price. Just the original one from the Onan, just for the fuel pump, they want like 200 something dollar. That's nuts. 200 something dollar just for this. I think I got all this for under 50 bucks. So I'll leave everything under the description, the link. So yeah, all right. So basically, one more tip is, if you have this issue like your generator starts and it shuts off on you, most likely the main suspect is the fuel pump. So it happened to me like 3-4 times in different RVs. Every time I change the fuel pump, the problem solved. So if you have this issue, always remember when you change your fuel pump and just replace it. And there's a big chance. There's a huge chance that that will fix your issue. The fact that it's not getting enough fuel is basically what's causing it to shut off. Of course, check your oil level and everything. That's really good. But yeah, every time I change this, I never got disappointed. It always keeps working after that. Also, another tip somebody mentioned was how do you know if to really like your fuel pump is bad? So they say there's a way to check if your fuel pump is working or not. Is you see this fuel line right here? We're gonna disconnect it and then kind of direct it towards the bucket, and then press the prime button to see if fuel pump the fuel pump is working. They say if you press the prime button and if you see fuel coming out of this hose to the bucket consistently, that means your fuel pump is working. But that issue, I mean, it's not really like 100% guarantee that your fuel pump is working, because sometimes right now it's cold, just the morning, so I never started it. So it might work right now, but when it's like really hot and you go to higher elevation or hot places, then it might not work. So it might be intermittent. It might work right now, but it might not work later. So I mean, I'll just check this, even though to see just but even if the fuel pump is working right now, it's not really guaranteed that it's gonna. Right now it's like what, 80. When it's like 100 above, it might not work. So that's just one thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and test it anyway just to see the condition right now. Also, before we do the fuel pump test, make sure that your house battery main switch is on. It was the morning, so it was off, so I just turned it on. So that, the house battery is located right here under the steps. So everything is ready to be connected and everything works. So, all right. All right, so now I disconnect the hose. So now we're gonna test if the fuel pump is gonna pump and is working or not. Just testing. So I'm gonna press the prime stop button and let's see. Uh-oh. Nothing. Okay, let's try to crank it. Uh-oh. I have no electricity actually. What's going on? I turned my house battery on. All right, let me check something. I'll be right back. All right, so everything's turned on, so let's test it. All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. See that? It's pumping very good. It's working. Okay, so my fuel pump seemed to be working. It's pumping very steady stream, but still, I'm gonna change it anyway because customers tell me, some customers it works for them, some customers complain. So it's kind of intermittent. So it might as well just do the whole service. It could be the filter, the fuel filter, this part. Could be the fuel pump. You never know. It's just better to do the whole. Actually, I have to do the spark plug is right here, right under the carburetor, next to the oil fill pump spot. Maybe I'll also do that. At least I know I did all the service, and if that doesn't fix it, we'll take it from there. But mostly, this will take care of it. All right. All right. So before we start this work, as I said, turn off your house battery switch off position, and then your battery. You have to disconnect your negative side of your battery. Let's do that. All right, so what I did was, anyway, I went ahead and started the generator, and it seemed to be working fine right now. Everything seemed to be working fine, just keeps running. But customers, like 4 days ago, they were struggling in the heat, and whenever they start the generator, immediately shuts off. It starts and like 2 seconds shuts off. Now it doesn't do it. Now it just starts right up. So it's very tricky. It's with intermittent. So that's why we have to do this service and solve this issue like once and for all. All right. So now I'm underneath the generator right now. So this is the fuel line that you need to disconnect. This one right here, disconnect it. Make sure you clamp it with a clamp so that it's gonna leak. So yeah, right behind you see this grommet, this rubber grommet. That's where the fuel filter is, and then after that, it's inside the fuel pump is in there. So first we have to disconnect this. Of course, we're gonna take it out from the generator side, from the front, but you gotta disconnect this first. Make sure you clamp it, and then I prepare a bucket, and then yep, I'm gonna remove this grommet, and then yeah, that's the next step. Let's do that. As you can see, I clamped it so it won't leak. I didn't have wood, so I use a cardboard so I don't damage the hose. So it's clamped, so now I'm ready to remove this, and I still have a bucket ready if there's any little leak. So let's do that. All right, so I finally got be able to disconnect the fuel hose. It was very hard. Oh my goodness, it was very hard. So one thing I recommend is to remove this grommet. There's that rubber grommet I was showing you about. You remove that, so so you can be able to see the fuel filter clearly, and then you can just put a screwdriver in the bottom of it and then try to disconnect this hose. It was very hard, but I used some WD-40 and then some
penetrating fluid like this, yeah, to kind of help. Yeah, so that step is done. So there's nothing leaking right now because I clamped it good. There's the hose. So now let's remove this fuel filter. I think some kind of wrench. We're just gonna screw it out. Easy to take out from this side, I think. All right, let's do that. All right, so what we need is a 15 millimeter. So you just loosen it. That was pretty loose. Okay, I think I can even pull it out with my hand. Let's see. Yeah, it's loose. Yep. Yep, it has some fuel. Yep. All right, so now the fuel filter is out. Now we're gonna start to work from the front to get the fuel pump out. How old is this fuel filter? Anyway, this is a 2020 RV. So it's maybe never been changed, maybe 3 years. Yeah, we're in 2023 now. So it's a good maintenance. All right. All right, so now we took out these 2 bolts. And next is disconnect this. And then after that, we're gonna be disconnecting this bolt. Let's do that. All right, so we disconnected this one out, and then now this is almost out. So yeah, still need to be. I'm gonna have to take this out. So make sure you take a picture of how everything is. So when you put it back, you remember how everything is gonna go back. So now, once we disconnect this out, we're gonna pull it out from outside. As you can see, it comes from outside in. So we're just gonna pull it out outside, so clear space. All right. So now we took that out and we pushed it out. I didn't take it all the way, but let me show you. Yeah, I pushed it all the way in the back. So if needed to be, I'll pull it out outside. So next is that T bolt, right? See that? This one. Next is this one. Yeah, this one need to be. So we're trying to get out, disconnect the solenoid. So that's the steps. So this is a T torque. T nut, T bolt. Yeah, let's take this out. All right, so I took the this one. I took this out. So now the solenoid is ready to be lifted up. You see. So on the back, it's not a T nut. Or yeah, it's not. It's like some kind of. You see that? It's like a clip thing. And if you can see it, you see that it's a clip thing. So all you have to do is just lift it up smoothly. Be gentle. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, it's just a clip thing. See that? See that? Hey. All right. So now this is out of the way. I used to pay professionals to do this fuel pump for me, but not anymore. Why do I have to pay a couple $100 for them to do that? But I can just follow each step and do it myself. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's move this out of the way. Next, we try this control board. The whole point is to remove this. See the fuel pump? It's all the way in the back here. I don't know why they put it in such a hard spot. But yeah, I'm gonna get to that step by step. Alright, so now everything's kind of disconnected. I mean, there's nothing in the back that you have to disconnect or anything. So now just wiggling this out. Definitely I need my 2 hands. But yeah, just wiggling this out carefully. And then we can have a smooth access to the fuel pump. Yeah, it's all like how many bolts? Like 1, this one, right? This 1, 2, and then the big bolt on the solenoid 3, and then disconnect this 4. What else? Oh yeah, and then the T nut, this thing 5. That's all you have to do, you know. And then just yeah, wiggling this out and clear up all the way. If you have to push these things, you know, out through the other side, great. If not, if you have to do that, but that's it. All I have to do, and then you can just have a smooth access to the fuel pump. That's it. That's what I was paying big money for people to do this for me, but not anymore. Okay, one thing I found under this control box, there is a like a socket thing. So I think it will help if you can remove this socket. Then this thing will easily come out. Otherwise, the socket, yeah, it's holding it. It wouldn't come out easily. So, yeah, let's remove this socket. Then we can take out this control unit. Remember, it's under it. When you lift it up, you'll see it. All right. You see that? I just took it out. Let me show you. Yeah, I just took it out. Yeah, this socket. Yeah, it has a clip here. You see this clip here? Yeah, you just have to pull it up a little bit, and it will easily come out. All right, let's take it out now. Let's see how easy it is to take out now. Control unit, just gently, you know, gently. All right, I need both of my hands. All right, finally we got this thing moved completely out of the way. It's hanging here nicely. We can get a chance to clean this dust later on. So there it is. There is the gold mine that we've been waiting for, the fuel pump. So it has the same thing, T nut things, these things, see that? It has this, I think, let me see, I think that one side. Yeah, I think it's one side. So let's take this out. And yep, that's the next step. Let's do that. All right, so one thing to note, you see the fuel pump here. So on this side of the fuel pump, it has these two lines. So this line, easy, you just disconnect it here and connect the new one. And the other line, the ground, it goes from here. It's in here, this bolt. I don't know if you can see it. You see this? It's in there. You have to remove this bolt to disconnect the ground. So when you put the new one, you have to, yeah, it's inside here, the ground. They put the ground here. So you have to disconnect this and take out the ground, and then when you connect the new one, you have to put the ground in here and then put the bolt. So as you can see, the new one, it comes with the socket thing, this part, which is very easy. It just plugs into this right here, and the other part, which is the ground, I hope it's long enough. I think it's long enough. I'm just gonna have to take out this. Yeah, this one, as I told you, goes to again to this. You ground it here, so we need to disconnect this one, and we need to disconnect this, and then we need to disconnect this to get the fuel pump out. That's the next step. Just step by step, everything, but it's doable. All right. So now I'm trying to remove this nut where the ground is connected to. So, but the thing is, when I'm turning this, there's another bolt here on the back side that need to be held. You need to hold this bolt to take that out. So just remember that. Let's do that. All right. So finally took out the ground for the fuel filter. So now this is out. This one is out. So now basically the fuel filter is ready to be taken out. Oh yeah, and then the last part is this hose, which is on the back of this hose, need to be disconnected, and the fuel filter is free to move. The other side, yeah, you see the other side of the hook, there is just a hook here. It's no like a T-torque or anything, just a hook. You see this part? See this part? It just goes in the hook right there. That's how when you put it back, that's for later. Alright, so now fuel filter is disconnected. Now the last hose, which is covered by this, need to be disconnected, and the fuel filter will be out. Alright, let's do that. Let's go disconnect this. All right, now, so everything's out. So as you can see, this is the old one, this is the new one, and this goes to the ground. So yeah, I don't have to do any modification because the wires, they're pretty similar length. So I just tested it, and yep, this will nicely go to the ground, original ground spot, and this goes to the socket. So yeah, they're pretty ready. And then over here we put the fuel filter. Of course, definitely use like a thread locker behind where's the fuel filter. Hold on, let me get the fuel filter. All right, so this is the fuel filter. So it's just gonna plug right here, and you have to tighten it very well. And definitely before we install that, yeah, you're gonna be using this thread locker around here, a little bit in the bottom, just a little bit in the bottom, so it will securely tight. And we'll go next step. All right.
All right, so I just realized this actually the one that came out of the RV, and which is the original one, and this is the aftermarket one, obviously. There's a slight difference on the cables, yeah. So I realized this part, this ring, is much narrower than the original one, so it's not gonna go to that original spot, which the factory put it here. So that's the only difference. So since this is the case, we're just gonna this ground, it's gonna be the ground. So we're just gonna, when we put the filter in, we're just gonna put it under here and tighten it like this, so that it can still be grounded somewhere around here. We're just gonna put it like this, and then put it the bolt and tighten it like that. So this is gonna be our ground. So yeah, that's the one difference I noticed. So yeah, so basically what I did is I put back everything. Yeah, I loosened it before, but now I put back everything how it was. And then yeah, let's put the now. I'm gonna connect the filter, which is yeah, this filter. So we're gonna connect it and tighten it. Make sure don't tighten it too much, otherwise you're gonna damage this. So tighten it, until you feel some resistance. All right, let's do that. Also, let's not forget to put this thread lock a little bit on the thread, a little bit on the thread. Yep, let's do that. All right, now the fuel filter is connected, so now it's ready to be put in. Let's put it in. So let's see. Yep, it's gonna go right there. See that this part goes to the, let's get camera closer. One side goes to the hook. See that hook right there? See that? See this? The hook, it just goes on the hook. Yeah. And the other side goes like that. Yeah. Now it's nice and secure like that. And then we put the ground. Don't forget the ground. Put the ground under this, and then let's tie it. Yeah, so I'm talking about like the ground right there. Then put the bolt and tie it. All right, let's do that. All right, so now we're gonna put this. See how I did it? The ground to the other side of the fuel pump while we're tightening the fuel pump. I don't know if you can see it. Let me show you. See, you see that bolt that goes on to secure the fuel pump. So yeah, we're gonna put the ground wire under it and then tie it. All right, let's do that. You see that? Now I didn't tie it all the way down, but that's how it's supposed to be. So your ground is secure like that. And now let's tie it. Let's tie that bolt. All right, so fuel pump is securely tied. Everything is in. So now the next step is, you see this hose right here? I mean, this hose goes in here. So before you do that, that's why my favorite fuel hose clamp kit, this one, you can get from Harbor Freight. Since the original one, I destroyed it when I took it out, I have to use one of these, so you can choose. I can choose the correct one. and then put that clamp in and then tie it. Basically this hose need to be securely tied so that no leak could occur. All right, let's get ready for that. All right, so one thing I forgot to do is actually before you tie the fuel pump in the bracket there, you need to connect this hose first to the back of the fuel pump outside while you're holding it. It's much easy. So now I have to disconnect. Uh, yep. Well, I guess learning through this process. All right. All right. So as you can see, now this hose is nice and secure. I didn't tighten it all the way so that when I put it in, after I put it in, I'll tie it properly. But now it's much easy to put this hose while the fuel pump is on the outside. All right. So now let's put it in. Put nicely. Let's see. Yeah. See if you can see it using one hand. Yeah, get the light more nice and clear. Yeah, so it's not all the way in, but yeah, I gotta put the camera down and sit it down properly. All right, now this is tight very well, and now it's in a good position. Everything is secure, so now we can tie this hose very well so that no leak will happen. All right, let's do that. Right, so now the last step for the connection on the fuel pump is these two. So let's connect these two. So right now, remember we had this connected to the fuel pump, and then that ground is connected to the chassis of the fuel pump right now, and then this is tight. So now the last step for this section is connecting these two together. This is from the RV, and then this from the fuel pump. Well, let's connect them. All right, so now we're ready to put back this I guess control board back in. So next step is connecting this red socket to this bottom part. This kind of gonna go like this, right? So this is gonna be the top part. So yeah, let's connect this red socket in the bottom. All right. All right, so now we have connected it to the back very well, and now this is gonna go. You see that there? See that hook? It's gonna go there. So that's how we're gonna put it back. Let's do that. All right, so a good tip when you try to put this control board back in, make sure you angle it towards like this way first, because this part right here is gonna really bother you to bring it in. So you have to kind of bring it at an angle, kind of like this, and then you go in this way. If you go in this way, it's not gonna go down. So you gotta have to bring, tilt it like this way, from outside, and then come in this way, and then you can easily, hook it to the back. That's just a good tip right here. Yeah, it kind of fought me a lot, but if you go in this way, yep, you can basically slide it. This thing won't bother you. All right. Right now I can feel in the back it's really secure. So now we're gonna put these two bolts all lined up. As you can see, we're gonna put these two bolts back in here. Let's do that. All right, so now next step is putting the solenoid back how it was before. See that there's the back hook for the solenoid, and then yeah, this part right here is where we're gonna put the bolt. So remember how it was before? It was in this position. So as you can see, yeah, these things, yeah, so basically we're gonna put it back how we got it, and it's gonna go like that. And then that side goes to the hook. See that? This goes to the hook like that, nicely. See that? Gonna sit there. Then the T right there. Gonna torque that. This gonna tight there, and then we're gonna put this in here, and then put the bolt connected. Very simple, just the way we got it. All right, let's do that. See that? Yep. Now we just got that in. Now turning this in is tight, so now we're gonna use the wrench and tie it. That's very easy. Yeah. So that's the next step. Everything is connected. Look at that. Yeah. And then now you have to put the nut here. Right. So now before we put the nut here, don't forget there is that this. Let's get that out. See that? That goes in the solenoid. This also goes there, but yeah, let's not forget this. This goes in here like that, and then we got yep. Gotta put the washer on it, just like how we got it, and then the nut like that. You got the idea? Yeah, step by step thing. Yeah, this. So we're gonna secure this. Let's do that. All right, now the solenoid is nice and secure, just the way how we got it. And now this is next step is connecting these two sockets. Let's do that.
All right, so as you can see, now we finished everything on this side, on the front. Now next step is basically to go down there and connect the fuel line to the tip of the fuel filter. All right, let's do that.
All right, so now basically the last step remaining is connecting this hose back to the tip of the fuel filter. So that's the last step to do and tie it. And but before I do that, I want to clean my generator and my carburetor especially. So it's a good opportunity to basically hook another fuel line here. So how you can clean your generator is basically right here. As you can see, I have 1 gallon of fuel, and then I put a 6 ounce of seafoam. Yes, I'll leave on the description below. So seafoam, so 6 ounce of seafoam on a 1 gallon of almost 1 gallon of fuel. So what you do is basically I'm gonna connect I have another fuel line for here. So I'm gonna connect the fuel line the fuel line to this, and then I'm gonna dip it into this mixture, and then run the generator for about 30 minutes. So and then that will really clean all the gummed up stuff in the carburetor. And then I'm gonna shut it off and then let it soak for about 15 minutes, and then run it again for about 10 minutes, and that will be basically that's it. So once you do that, yeah, the job is finished, and then you connect back this original hose to your fuel filter tip, and then secure it, you tie it, and then that's it. So that's how you do your generator cleanup. So let's do that. All right, so as you can see, my fuel line is nicely connected. So the other end, this end, we're gonna be dumped inside the gas tank. Let's do that. All right, so it's ready to be put in. So let's dip it in. It's a good opportunity to do this cleanup, especially if your generator has like a surging problem, surging up and down while it's running. That will really clean up your carburetor. Yeah, all right.
This is the seafoam I used, seafoam Aro Marine Fleet. I just put about 6 ounces of this and mix it up in a 1 gallon of fuel. It does the amazing job of cleaning your carburetor. All right. And now to get the generator be able to run, we have to turn on everything, turn on this. First connect your house battery back. So let's do that. All right, so I'm priming right now, pressing start button to get the fuel pump ready. Prime it well, about 10 to 20 seconds. All right, let's crank it up. Yep, fired up. Now the cleaning starts, and let it run for about 30 minutes. Of course, the first 5 minutes with no load. After that, for about 20 minutes with maybe turn on the AC or something, put a load on it. And then, yep. And then after that, maybe after the 20 minutes on a load, let it run without a load for about 5 minutes, and then turn it off, and then let it soak for about 15 minutes, and then turn it on again with no load for about 10-15 minutes, and you're done. All right.
Make sure you dip down the hose all the way, because after like 20 minutes or something, you might the fuel might be getting very low. So but make sure you put your hose all the way down the bottom of the bottle, so that maybe you can get all the fuel in there. Just watch it. All right.
All right, so now it's been running for about 25 minutes, 20 minutes on a load. So now I'm gonna shut off the load, which is the AC, and let it run without no load for 5 minutes. All right, all right. So now it's been running for 5 minutes without a load. So now we're gonna turn it off, and then we're gonna start the soaking process to begin for about 15 minutes, just off, and then we're gonna turn it on again. All right, so now it's been soaking for about 15 minutes. So now we're gonna turn it on and let it run for about 15 minutes with no load, and then we can complete the cleanup process. All right. All right, so the last 15 minutes running with no load is completed. So I'm gonna turn it off and then connect the fuel line in the bottom, and we are done. All right, now we are underneath the RV performing the last step. As you can see, the clamp is still held, so that the fuel line, the main fuel line, won't leak. So now the last step is basically putting the yep, the clamp, and putting this back to yeah, back to here, and then tightening it. Make sure it's securely tied, and remove this. Make sure you know straighten, I mean all that pressed area. Make sure you properly like bring it back to round position, and yep. And then you can run the generator after cool down. Let it cool down for about 30 to 40 minutes, and you can run the generator just to see if there's any leaks around here, if there's any leaks from inside. Just check and open the one generator running, and see all those connections that you did with the clamp. Make sure there's nothing leaking there, and you are all set. That's how you do fuel filter, fuel pump, and then generator cleanup, carburetor cleanup on a Onan microquiet 4000 generators. Hope this helps. All right, you take care.